Without further ado, please welcome from Animoca Brands, Zaf Chow, from the Sandbox, Erich Wong, and all the way from the Philippines, the CEO of Tier 1 Entertainment, Tryke, Gutierrez. Yay! And we're not in the Metaverse, we're live. So the cool thing about people from Manila is that they can wear winter coats when it's 30 degrees here. Okay, so we're going to start with you, Zaf, to my left. Let's we've got a lot of Web 2 here. What can you tell us about, who is Animoca? I mean, obviously, they're very, very, very well-known organization in Web 3, but who is Animoca, and what's your definition of Web 3?
So Animoca is actually based in Hong Kong. We are a 5.5 billion valuation company actively investing in Web3. Currently, we have a portfolio of around 380 companies, and we are trying to attract more Web2 communities, brands into the Web3. And we are trying to tap into not only gaming, but a lot more on the entertainment vertical, like fashion, music. That's why Cloak and Fair will be really interesting to see. They have NFT launching too. And also like art and movie, everything will be related. So I guess a lot of you here may not be so familiar with Web3, but I think it's time to look into it. Maybe you think the NFT trend is gone, but I think the application and the Web 2.5 is going to stay, and it's going to be for the upcoming 1 or 2 years, we will stay in the Web 2.5 until we reach the Web 3.
Fantastic, and I know we're going to talk about Sandbox in a second, but what do you see as some of the core best use cases for Web3 in the events business?
For the event business, I think it's important for organizers to build, for example, the loyalty, and I think NFT ticketing would be a very good use case. Like you can have something to target the audience over and over again. I think and this is not just something that you can do it through email. This is something that on chain everyone can see, and you can use it for a lot more on collaboration with brands and things like that. So I think for live events, especially for concerts and for conferences, those are some use cases that we are seeing in the market right now. And personally, I think the application in concerts or music festival is especially interesting. I'm not saying that the music festival or the concert will be happening completely on virtual, but I think the way that we engage people, as I mentioned, like ticketing or after-party events, things like that, associated with those music festival concerts would be something really interesting to build the loyalty of customers.
And it's a brilliant way of building a fan base, right?
Definitely.
We had at Music Matters last year, we had Rihanna's lawyer, and someone had said to him, are NFTs the end of law firms? And he said, well, no, someone's got to write the smart contract. But the second thing he said was, don't launch an NFT for the money, but do it for the audience and the communication, the connection, and then if you make money later on. Erich, so Sandbox, you may disagree with Zaf on the concert things in the Metaverse. Please tell everyone a little bit more about Sandbox, some of the stuff you've been doing, the brands that you work with.
Thank you, Jasper. Thank you to having me today. So let me introduce a bit about Sandbox. Actually, Sandbox is one of the largest user-generated platform and also gaming ecosystem. So what we are doing is our team currently work with like I think more than 400 brands, and then to create using their own digital access, and then to create the Metaverse experience to the public. Globally, we work with like Snoop Dogg, Warner Music, and then and also Paris Hilton is currently you can try the experience at the moment. And then in local Hong Kong, we work with HSBC, we work with Ocean Park, we work with like PCCW, HKT. So both of them are not just only creating an experience for marketing purpose, but also they are at the same time they are building their Web3 community at the same moment. So I think it's still a very early stage for people to understand or to know that how to good use of the metaverse environment at the moment. But I think it's very important that those partners and the project, we come together and then we build the metaverse together. So Sandbox is never alone for building the platform by ourselves, but with all the people's contribute inside this metaverse area. So the concept is very important, that is about how they manage their own digital assets and how they good use of that. So this is quite a new area for people to explore, but luckily we have those brands and partners to work with us together.
So how is this going to change the way that we live, work, and consume events, either as businesses or as consumers?
I think it's quite still very early to mention about the changes, but we believe that in, I think, 5 or 10 years later, some of the social media, social networking, event, and also even though ticketings, more people will be much more familiar with about how to use the NFT, and also the people inside Sandbox, they also get used to create their own digital identity as an avatar. So they play with their avatar to entering different kind of event, and somehow at the same time we also have a very good creator economy. So this is the platform that, because of the decentralizations, so the people as a creator, they can also creating something as a digital asset, but the ownership is truly belongs to them. I think this is really important for the market, for the younger people to understand that how they can good use of their own creation, and then maybe someday they can also contribute for those branded project in the future.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Tryke, final introduction to yourself. Thank you again so much for coming all the way from Manila.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Tier 1, what the company does, the kind of people you work with. It's a pretty cool story.
Okay, so basically for myself, I've been a gamer all my life. And we founded a company, Tier 1 Entertainment, way back in 2017 with a very simple thesis. The thesis was follow the whole K-pop industry model, do that talent management in esports and gaming. Because if they can develop superstars in music and in dancing and all that, making it look that good, why not in gaming and esports? So we applied that in Southeast Asia. We started out in the Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Myanmar, and in Vietnam. And today we have 500 million in combined following. We also own esports teams. We host and produce reality shows. We have multiple events that happen across Southeast Asia as well. And I think basically today I'm very proud that people are dreaming to become gamers in the region, and then they see Tier 1 as a destination for that.
And specifically on the Web3 and Metaverse conversation, how's your talent getting involved in that? I mean, gaming's probably it's where it started, right?
Yes. I think for the Philippines alone, there was a really, really huge development when it comes to the gaming side of Web3, specifically Axie, right? That play to earn model really flew in that market. But I feel like obviously there were a lot of challenges when it comes to the business model of the play to earn, but I feel like there's still a future where it's play and earn. So for us, we're not in the business of figuring out the gaming side of the development, but what we can bring is really the attention, because currently we have 500 million in combined following in Web 2. And at the end of the day, just like how we believed esports was a big future in 2017, we really believe that Web3 has a big part in the whole of the gaming ecosystem. So that's why we have 2 initiatives in Web3 right now. The first one is something we call the Alliance, because credibility in Web3 is not so hard to find, but at the same time, pretty hard to find. So you want to be able to assemble different influencers in Southeast Asia that has really good credibility within Web3, so that for the products that they push, people know that these are really, really good products in Web3, because you want to be able to change that narrative of everything in Web3 isn't really just, everything is just bad, right? That's the first initiative. The second initiative it's to address our challenges when it comes to not owning our own data. Because even though we have 500 million in combined following, those are in Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and all of these platforms. So when we introduce our own NFT, which is going to be a loyalty program within our followers, then we will then get to own the data of our following and eventually turn that into something one day.
I came up with a fairly controversial idea. Where all the play to earn, someone had a sleep to earn app recently. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of this concept of work to earn? Do you reckon it'll ever catch on? Okay, so let's talk about to the three of you now. Again, thank you very much for joining us. I mean, this is the cool crowd on stage, right? And you haven't used any three-letter acronyms yet, so you're letting me down. Let's share some successes, but also what are the challenges to working in Web3 in the Metaverse? Zaf.
I think one of the challenges would be from the outside world to see the Web3 is like a lot of misunderstanding, I would say, from maybe people say it is a money grab thing. People don't really understand what's pay and earn or play to earn. And a lot of companies out there are doing something that trying to just launch an NFT for the sake of launching it or for the sake of earning money. And I totally agree with what you have just said, Jasper, about if your company is thinking about launching NFT, think about like how to build a community, because NFT or Web3 is just a tool for you to achieve a decentralized community. At the end, it's the people that matter. And I think a lot of you would agree the customer matter the most, and how to build some valuable assets for them to own or to co-create or give them a chance to contribute into your brand building, for example. This is something that is really useful utility for the NFT or whatever loyalty program you want to build, right? So just think of NFT or Web3 as a tool for you to achieve that. And the essence is always about the community and the utility. So this is some challenges and I would say some opportunity, but I would say it takes time for us to educate the market and build a use case. And this is some challenges that we're facing. That's why we're trying to collaborate with something like K-pop brands, and we're collaborating with some fashion brands, trying to broadcast the message better.
Erich, talk about some of your successes for Sandbox.
Yeah, sure. Currently, actually, we do have a lot of use cases working with our partners together. So like currently we just finished the Lunar Season campaign with MTR, PCCW XKT, and also Rico Hotel. They created Meta Green project is by Rico Hotel. So I think it's very interesting this is not just a single project they created, but actually at the same time they used to understand how about the digital ownership, and then how they could encourage their internal staff to understand why we are going to Web3, why we are developing something like that. And because of, I think it's also, it is really a very, very early stage that people always asking like how we can do the data analysis. So I think it's really differences between Web2 and Web3 to do the data analysis. So I think everyone just like we walk through the learning curve together. So we both, at the same time, we understand that what kind of mechanism or campaign that maybe we can easier to reach out to the public users. And at the same time, actually, I think it's very important for the people to get educated, because honestly, it's not that easy for people to create a crypto wallet at the moment. So we have to figure out, maybe we have to get some incentive or to create some special content or campaigns to drive them to get interested for that. For example, like PCCW and HKT, they kind of good use of one of the IP from ViuTV. Actually, it's quite famous in Hong Kong. So with those IP, they can easier to reach out to the public users to get more attentions. So for MTR, they also trying to develop, actually they're building the number 100 MTR station, which is Metaverse station inside the Metaverse. So it's quite interesting for them. And honestly, this is not the idea from us, but is from them. So this is what they are trying to build into the metaverse.
Will we be allowed to drink water?
Yeah, maybe we have those action later, maybe.
There you go. Proof that I get it. I get the MTR.
Yeah.
And Tryke, obviously a lot of education and learnings and stuff. But can you share any of your success stories or your learnings, challenges from working with Web3 in the metaverse?
Cause for me, like I got into Web3 just 1 year ago. Cause basically, a lot of my friends, because I'm in the gaming space, were really into Web3. And everybody was telling me, like tier 1 needs to be into this because I think there's a huge part of the ecosystem that you can solve, which is education, attention, and the credibility that we can bring. So that's when I started trying to really learn and see the value of Web3. And I think at the end of the day, the value really is having that digital ownership, which I think is very, very important because in terms of like our business development, yes, we have 500 million in combined following and we try to monetize them through advertising. But one way to look at least from a CEO perspective, is why don't we go direct to the market? Because if our machinery for advertising is working, then that means the brands like Adidas, Toyota, and all of those who are working with us, they're happy because they're selling. So we wanted to sell directly to the market. That was the idea, right? So now, last year, we started selling out jerseys and merchandise of Tier 1 and Blacklist, our team, into the market that we have. And now we want to be able to combine that with the Web3 aspect because at the end of the day, there are logistical issues when it comes to selling, like physical stuff. So if our product of the future is Web3 and digital, then it can be a global product that won't have any friction on the logistics side. So personally, no success yet. But I think in terms of success, we were able to assemble the influencers, which are now being bought out by the brands to be able to do campaigns. I mean, that's a very small type of success compared to what they've achieved. So that's that.
So now we mentioned crypto wallets. So you've opened the door on that one. There is a crypto winter out there. How is that affecting specifically the events business in the metaverse? Maybe Erich, I'll ask you that first.
I can't see anything affect to the metaverse, honestly, because just share some numbers. So I think the most serious problems is last year, like around November. So at that moment, actually, Sandbox is running our Alpha Season 3 season at that moment to feature like 98 games in total for 2-month event. So through those campaigns, we generate like around 1 million new account to joining this special seasons. So you can see that even though maybe the crypto market is not that good at the moment, but for the gamers, maybe they still want to play the game. They still want to exploring what is the new happening inside the metaverse. So and also I think it's a good time for people to get their first digital assets, to get their lands, and then people can always get started to create something at this very special moment because maybe they have a lower cost to get entered into this metaverse area. And then and also because Sandbox providing every tools for free for people to get started with their own development. So I can't see anything differences between I would say yes, the Sand token could be, or the land could be at different prices than before. But at the same time, it's much more easier for people to get started with the development and own their own project.
Okay, so sticking with the event business, specifically around Web3 and the metaverse, we've talked about here and now, and it's still very early stages, and education is necessary and stuff. Let's look into the future. What do you think the future looks like for the I was going to say the gaming business, for the live event business? What are we going to be doing? Are we all going to be standing here, going on the big wheel, or are we going to be looking on our laptops?
Personally, I do believe that the human touch is still going to be here. We'll be maybe sitting here still riding the Ferry wheel, but the Metaverse part will be an extension to it. So the events maybe last for 1 day, 2 days, but then the connection with the people and like all the after parties and stuff can be happening on the virtual side. And also, like if you attend a physical event, maybe you get a merch. Like I think the jersey example is a really good one. Like maybe there's a tag you can add onto it. We're seeing companies that are actually doing this for concert merchandise. In the past, you have no idea who purchased your merch, and you don't really know all the data about all those customers, right? But then if you get a chip there, and it's like a scannable wallet, you can just scan, and then you can go to an after party wearing a T-shirt to confirm that you own a bunch of other stuff. This is like something that is innovative, and I think this is something maybe not in the 10-year future, but in the short-term future, we're actually seeing this happening already. So I would say Metaverse or Web3 is like an extension to the live events, but it's not going to be replacing the human touch.
Erich, do you agree? I mean, your everything you do has nothing to do with humans, right?
No. I'm totally agree with that. Human touch is still very important. I would say, yeah, but try to imagine that even though I have a physical event, I can attending for physical event, but after that, I can always attend to the Metaverse event as well. So because of like, I also can using my digital identity to entering different kind of event at the same time. So there's always something take away from physical event, but maybe you can somehow have some memory, or there's some no time limit event that you can always host in the Metaverse. So I think there's no limitations to create something inside Metaverse, because as we just mentioned, Sandbox is a user-generated content platform. So people can always contribute or generate some new content into it. But somehow maybe it's hard for them to create some physical event in the real life, but at the same time, maybe they can contribute in the Metaverse or inside the virtual world.
Can I supplementary to Erich's answer? Actually, a lot of stars or celebrities, they're having world tour, but they can't actually reach all of their fans, right? Because of the logistic, because of transportation costs to travel, blah, blah, blah. But then I think the Metaverse gives the fans or community a really good chance to participate, maybe not directly physically at that space, but they will get a chance at least to be in the same space virtually with the idol they like. I think this is a really good example and use case of how it can be an extension to a real life event as well.
I haven't mentioned it, but I was very lucky to go in London to see the ABBA Voyager event, and I urge literally everyone in the world to go to see it. It is the best live experience I've ever had. Now you do have a live band, and I won't ruin it for the rest of anyone, but I've seen the Avatar thing. Well, they call them avatars, and it's amazing. It really is amazing. Tryke, what does the future look like for you, for Tier 1 and the artists you're working with?
I think for me, I just also want to talk about Web3, right? Like, I read this thing before where, at some point, cars didn't have wipers, and then you had to like wipe, like the mirror in front of you just to make sure that it's cleared out. And somebody thought that, it couldn't be this way. Like, so it has to be better. And then the introduction of the wipers were made, and then eventually people thought that it's crazy. Like, why would you put something like that in front of your car and people will just bump and all that, right? But eventually, like, it's something that we all use today. So I feel like with any form of innovation, there is always a friction to adoption. And in my story, in 2017, when we said that we can have talent management in esports and gaming, people laughed. Because for them, like, why do you need talent management in an industry that doesn't have opportunities? In 2020, when we said we will have esports teams, they also said you can't because you only are good with talents. Then eventually, our esports teams became world champions. And then in 2021, we can sell jerseys. And then everybody said, your following doesn't have money. We sold 20,000 jerseys last year. So now that we're entering into Web3, I think we just need to come with the confidence of, if this is something that's really valuable to the ecosystem, one way or the other, people will adapt. And I think Web3 is a big part of the ecosystem of gaming in the world eventually, and it's just a matter of time.
So, Zaf, there's obviously a lot of people here who are interested in everything that we're, well, I hope they're interested in everything. They're not just hanging on for the Cathay cocktails coming up later on this afternoon. What kind of partners are Animoca looking to work with, and who and how do you work with partners?
We're actually looking into all kinds of partners in like entertainment vertical that I've just mentioned, fashion, music, arts, movie, sports as well, and also like ticketing to live events. Those are the things that we believe that can help mass adoption. And of course, like some financial institution that we're working with as well. So basically, the limit is just our imagination. I think Web3 is an application or the layer of technology that enable us to do something to decentralize. And I think ultimately, we just have to see what would be the value we decentralize something would bring, and that is the limit. So for anyone who is interested to explore, feel free to talk to me on the ride later.
That's the first invitation to a meeting on the big wheel, ladies and gentlemen. I've been pushing it since 8:30 this morning. Erich, who are you looking to work with and how?
We don't have any limited category for that. So just like Seb just mentioned, yeah, any kind of industry or community, or if you guys want to know more about the how to do it. So maybe somehow I have a video that I can show to you guys, and you guys actually is the development tools about Sandbox. So it's much more easier for you guys to understand what is coming up for Sandbox, because most of the people just think that it is still a very gaming environment with voxel, and then the character is not looking nice. But actually we are developing something new for, in 2023 and upcoming for the public. So
let's run the video.
Yeah, can we share the video?
Hopefully you can see it in the sunlight.
Ole.
I must say, it doesn't look that much different to this.
Yeah. So actually, this is the development tools. This is the development tools open for everyone. So just everyone, you guys want to know more the details, then you can always looking for inside the Sandbox website and also social media, and also even though we can share a lot today.
And meet you on the wheel.
Yeah, sure.
And Tryke, finally with you, and unfortunately we are out of time. I could talk about Web3 for a long time, but who are you looking to work with and how?
It's always nice working with you. So thank you very much for having me, and I would love to work with the other two people who is in this forum as well, because I feel like we can really do a lot together. But if there are anyone out there who wants to do something in Southeast Asia or Japan in the gaming space, then feel free to approach or talk to me later.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again for flying from the Philippines, from coming all the way from Hong Kong. We've talked a lot about Web3. We talked about the fact it's gone from consumption to ownership, that it is extremely complex, that we need education, and more sessions like these, I think, are necessary. It's about community building, We talked about getting started. There's a way to go, but it's good to start plant the seed now. We still need a human touch. We talked a lot about merch and ticketing. But it is very much open for business. It's not just an ethereal thing. It's very much there. And I think the most important thing is we may be in 2.3, 2.5. Sorry, my maths is terrible. But Web3 is definitely a thing, and it's definitely coming. So Zaf, Erich, and Tryke, thank you so much for joining us and talking about Web3 and the Metaverse. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.